Things are getting dirty in MAGA world in North Carolina as they're trying to claw their way into a North Carolina Supreme Court seat that they did not earn by, wait for this, tossing 60,000 votes, disenfranchising 60,000 North Carolinians who voted, including those that voted for Allison Riggs, a Democrat. But they don't want to take no for an answer, and now they're trying to disenfranchise North Carolinians so that they can get a 6-1 majority, the Republicans, on the North Carolina Supreme Court. It matters. You're here. This is Legal AF. Hit the blue button to subscribe. I'm Michael Popok at The Intersection. We gotta fight for our rights. We got to fight for our seats on the state Supreme Courts just as much as in any other courts. And Allison Riggs is doing the right thing because after the votes were counted, after the votes were machine recounted, she is up by 734 votes out of about 5.5 million cast. I get it's a bitter defeat for the challenger. She already was or is on the North Carolina Supreme Court. This was for her re-election to the court. But Republican Jefferson Griffin doesn't want to take no for an answer. He has the right to have recounts. He already had a machine recount, and he lost. That's how we got to the 734 vote lead. Now he's entitled to a spot audit in all 100 counties of North Carolina, a 3% audit of the ballots to check them by hand, by eye. And if there's a major variance, maybe that can lead to a full-blown hand recount. We do the 3% audit first. He's likely to lose, but he's pulling every trick in the book like Donald Trump. He's challenging the voter registration cards for more than 60,000 people, and he's doing it by sending a postcard to those 60,000 people, basically attacking them and scaring them and telling them that their votes are invalid, which is a complete undermining and try an attempt to, through fear, disenfranchise people. Now, there's many reasons that a voter registration card could be found to be not completely compliant today with North Carolina law. In 2002, North Carolina required that those cards, those registration cards, contain either a social security number and or a driver's license. But a lot of people registered to vote years before 2002. I first registered to vote in 1984. So they didn't make people re-register. It was for the 2002 people and beyond. One of the groups that this guy, this challenger, Mr. Griffin, is trying to throw out their vote is Riggs's parents. Okay, they registered before 2002. Plus, there could be clerical error. There could be a typo or something on the voter registration card. It doesn't mean that illegals or undocumented voted. And so McGriffin doesn't like it because on election night, he was ahead by a number of votes, by a fair number. He led by 10,000 votes. But after the absentee ballots and the provisional ballots and the mail-in ballots all came in, he ended up losing by about 800 votes. It got adjusted here and there after the machine count. It came down to this hard 734. You only need to win by 734. So now he doesn't like it. So he's claiming all sorts of voter fraud. He's taken the case to federal court and he's lost. But he doesn't care about that. Now he's sending postcards to try to get people trying to argue that, hey, you somebody voted with your registration. Go clear that up. Like he's scrambling around looking for these 734. They will stop at nothing. Is it a 5-2 majority on the North Carolina Supreme Court enough for the Republicans? Not according to Griffin, who's going after it left and right. He's also trying, once he inevitably loses on this audit that's going on of the 100 counties, it goes up to the North Carolina Elections Board, the state board, which is controlled 3 Democrats and 2 Republicans. Now, he's trying to get rid of one of the Democrats, Siobhan Millen, because he claims that Siobhan Millen's husband works for the law firm that's representing Riggs, who beat him for the Supreme Court position. Now, that may be true, but when reached for comment, the law firm said they have a compliance wall between Riggs and this matter, that he's not, or Millen in this matter, that he's not representing Associate Supreme Court Justice Riggs. His law firm is, other lawyers are, but that shouldn't be grounds to recuse Siobhan Millen because her husband happens to work at a law firm where another lawyer represents Riggs, and they put up a compliance wall to make sure that there's no information going back and forth. I've been involved with matters where there's been a compliance wall. It happens. That's how you solve these ethical dilemmas. But I think it's just fascinating that where the fights are. See, sometimes we only look at the national election, like Trump won, Kamala Harris lost. But where the real fight matters sometimes, and what really touches your lives, is at the state Supreme Court level. It's at the Board of Education level. It's at the State House level. It's at the governor's mansion level. And Democrats for too long have taken their eye off the ball and have not focused on ground up, grassroots committees, agencies, boards, state houses. We should be focusing on state legislatures. You know, there's only 17 states out of 50 where the Democrats are in complete control of the two chambers of their legislature and the governor. Just 17 states. There's many more red states where there's more than, I think there's at least 23 or 24 states where the entire state is red. The Senate of that state, the House of that state, or the Assembly of that state, and the governor's mansion. We've only got 17. I think they're closer to 30. Took our eye off the prize. State houses matter. State Supreme Courts matter, especially when we're trying to argue that state constitutions provide certain rights that our MAGA right-wing Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court, won't recognize, especially when it comes to women, reproductive rights, LGBTQ plus rights, voting rights. We got to look to these state Supreme Courts more and more. So it's important. I don't want to give up this seat. And let's be frank. Let's be direct. Allison Riggs won her seat fair and square, and it wasn't rigged, no pun intended. And I just find it so disgusting that in order to try to win and get your Supreme Court seat, Mr. Griffin, you need to try to disenfranchise 60,000 fellow North Carolinians. You should be ashamed of yourself. Go through your process. You're on your second recount now. If the audit comes out the way we think, and I'll report on it right here on Legal AF, the YouTube channel, you're going to be done. And you won't have the right to ask for a statewide audit or a statewide recount of the entire thing. I get you lost by a little. I get you were all excited like Donald Trump on the night of the election, but that's not how elections work. There are absentee votes. There are mail-in votes. There are provisional ballots that get looked at carefully and are converted into true ballots for counting purposes. That's how it works. Everybody's vote counts equally. Could be overseas. You could be serving in the military. Could be a student who had a mail-in his vote. You might have had a problem where they made a mistake on election day in a precinct. I've been there. I've been a vote counter or I've been a poll watcher for one of the parties at least 3 times in the past. It happens. And so you lost. We'll continue to follow it all the attempts to disenfranchise North Carolinians by Republicans who don't care about making sure every vote counts. They only want to make sure that their votes are counted properly and everybody else's get tossed in the trash. I'm Michael Popok at the intersection of law and politics here on the Legal AF YouTube channel. Follow me on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. for Popok Live on the Midas Touch Network, and then here for all the other things related to Legal AF. Help us build the channel, the YouTube channel right here. Hit the blue subscribe button right now, and our goal is 500,000 total subscribers by Jan 1. I think we're going to make it, but only with your help and only your commitment. Really appreciate each and every one of you. Until my next contribution, I'm Michael Popok reporting. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.